Family Time 158. And we're talking about gratitude. This sort of wraps up our look at self management, and the timing is perfect. Next week is Thanksgiving. So, this family time will cover this week and our short school week next week. But I do think it's a great place to finish when we're looking at self management. Last week we talked about framing, the idea that we get to choose how we interpret the different events in our lives. There are always going to be things over which we don't have a lot of control, but we can decide whether something is good or bad, whether something is a challenge or an opportunity. That's up to us. That's a freedom that we relinquish too freely. Gratitude is an important thing to practice because it allows us to frame our lives. If we're practicing gratitude, that becomes our baseline. That becomes our steady state, is being grateful for the things that we have. And that's not to say we can't recognize the challenges in our lives. But if we're being truly grateful, it's hard to feel negative emotions. If we're really feeling gratitude in a moment, it's hard to be anxious or angry or sad. And not that any of those feelings aren't okay. It's good to feel those things sometimes. But if we can practice being grateful, that anchors our perspective. That anchors how we choose to walk through life. And I'm sure we all know people who it seems like the sky is always falling and they're always seemingly looking for a problem or looking for drama, something like that. And I just think it's much healthier mentally, spiritually, physically to be anchored in a state of gratitude. And again, that doesn't mean that we can't see injustices or challenges, that we can't be upset about things. But if we can set ourselves at a base point that is grateful, it just helps us be a lot happier and healthier in our lives. And it is something we have to practice. It's important to practice gratitude because it's easy for us to just take things for granted, to go with the flow, to kind of go through our daily routine. In a commencement speech that writer David Foster Wallace gave, he talks about this is water. And he starts that speech by talking about two young goldfish who are swimming along, and they meet an old goldfish. And the old goldfish says, "Hey boys, how's the water?" And the two younger goldfish continue on, and they look at each other and they say, "What's water?" And that's kind of how we all exist, is we don't take the time to stop and look around and really enjoy and be grateful for the things around us. We don't even realize that this is water. We don't even realize maybe the wonderful things that we have around us. And that is a very, very important practice because it gives us the important things to cling to. There's always going to be challenges. We all have different challenges. And there's going to be periods in our lives that are more challenging than other periods. But if we can anchor ourselves in gratitude, we can always fall back on these are the things that I have. These are the good things. And if you find the right couple good things, you don't need that many. You find the right things that you're passionate about. You find the people that you love and the things that you love doing and anchor yourselves to those things. It makes the rest of life a lot easier because life can be mundane. It can be repetitive. It can be challenging. It can be hard. It can hurt. We just have to find a few of those things to really anchor ourselves to. So that's what we're talking about this week and next. And I've got two tasks that I want my students to carry out. One, we're going to come up simply with a list of things for which you're grateful. That that you can really think about every day and be like, yeah, I am grateful that I have this in my life. And then the next thing we're going to do, gives us a little longer time with this week and next, is write somebody a thank you note. I just always think that's a nice thing to do, especially if it's a little handwritten note. People appreciate that. We don't often take enough time to share our gratitudes with other people and to let them know how we appreciate them. So those are things we're going to do the next 2 weeks. Be grateful. I'm grateful for all of you. Until next time, much love.